The next 24 hours could be some of the biggest ever in the world of AI news. We have probably some big announcements coming, not just from OpenAI and their ChatGPT announcement planned for hours from now, but probably from Apple and Google as well. So, we're going to be covering all of that and more in today's AI news that matters. What's going on, y'all? My name is Jordan Wilson. I'm the host of Everyday AI. And if you're new here, thanks for joining us. We are your guide to learning and leveraging generative AI to grow your company and to grow your career. So if you're listening on the podcast, make sure to check out your show notes today. I know I say that most days, but we're dropping links to the OpenAI live stream, which is happening in just a couple of hours. So if you're listening on the podcast, thank you for that. If you're joining us on the live stream, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on all of this different AI news that matters? So for all of our audience tuning in, thank you. Makaria joining us from Charlotte, Dutch from Pennsylvania, Juan holding it down just like me here in Chicago. Brian, thank you all for joining us. A lot going on in the world of AI news, and we do this every single Monday. So if you are new here, make sure to go to youreverydayai.com and sign up for our free daily newsletter. Our newsletter today is going to be a little later than normal, just FYI, because we want to make sure that we get the latest and breaking news coming in today from today's OpenAI announcement. All right, so let's just jump right into it. Like I said, we do this almost every single Monday here at Everyday AI, going over the AI news that matters because you can spend hours, literally, if you wanted to, every single day trying to dig into, all of this, AI news, all of these new developments and partnerships, and trying to figure out what it means for your business. Or you could just spend 30 minutes every single Monday with us. But we do this Monday through Friday. All right, so let's jump straight into the AI news that matters for the week of May 13th. All right. Geez, and I'm not lying, y'all. We got a lot going on. But first, Apple is nearing a deal with OpenAI to integrate ChatGPT on the iPhone. All right. So, according to a new report from Bloomberg, Apple is close to finalizing an agreement with OpenAI to incorporate ChatGPT features into its upcoming iOS 18 operating system for iPhones. So, the timing here, you got to pay attention to. Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference, or WWDC, is in less than a month. And also, Apple is announcing its AI plans at the conference for future AI integration into hardware and software. So, if you've been following the Everyday AI show, you have seen this or read this, right? Because these talks have been ongoing between Apple and both Google and their parent company Alphabet, as well as ChatGPT. We've been hearing this back and forth, right? So for the last month or two in different reports on will Apple ultimately kind of partner with ChatGPT and OpenAI to use their technology in its forthcoming iOS, or would they work with Gemini or Gemini via Google? And there's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of different reporting. So about 6 or 7 months ago, actually, we heard that Apple was spending more than $1 million every day to develop its own generative AI system and its own AI models for future use in the iPhone and other devices. And we've actually seen them release some research papers kind of showing the different models that they've been working on. However, we are led to believe now that those internal models that Apple was developing were not quite good enough. And then we've been seeing reports that have really been heating up over the last couple of weeks about who ultimately Apple was going to partner with if their model that they were working on internally was indeed not yet ready. So about 2 weeks ago, it sounded like kind of conversations with Google and their Gemini chatbot were getting closer to fruition. However, at least according to this Bloomberg report, it does sound like now that Apple may have finally decided its generative AI partner in OpenAI's ChatGPT model. So again, nothing is 100% confirmed, but out of all the reporting that we've seen, that we've talked about, and that we've reported on here at Everyday AI, this does appear to be the most concrete. It does seem like not that this is a done deal, but it seems like this is essentially a done deal. So again, this is news that literally just came out a couple of hours ago, so brand new. And if I'm going to go ahead and offer kind of my take on this, and I think this is a great move from Apple. So even as we've seen kind of this back and forth flip flop in all this reporting with if Apple was going to use its own model, if Apple was going to ultimately partner up with Google and Gemini, I've said all along, even when this, the Google kind of partnership talks were hot and it seemed like that Apple was headed in that direction, I said that's probably not going to happen. I'm someone that uses these large language models many hours a day, and I said, if Apple does end up, choosing Google and their Gemini product, that would be pretty devastating for Apple's bottom line, just because if we're being honest, Gemini is so far behind ChatGPT, even though their 1.5 model that just came out about 2 months ago is much newer than OpenAI's GPT-4. It is not capable. It is problematic. The Google Gemini model, if I'm being honest, is not very good at all compared to other models that are out there. So this new report from Bloomberg, and we'll link to it in the newsletter so you can read it a little bit more. But it's pretty significant. And when we talk about the future of technology and the future of AI, I've been saying this since day one. Apple is never the first to the party, but they're always the coolest kid there. And whatever Apple ended up doing for its first kind of AI iPhone or generative AI enabled Macs, right? That's really going to set the tone for the future of how we all work and the future of the AI space. So some pretty significant news this morning from that Bloomberg report. So definitely worth checking out. And excuse me, y'all. Got a cough in the throat today on the live stream. So yeah, all right. Hey, I love this. I love getting the takes from the live audience here. So saying Marias saying an ultra kind of his bet is an ultra modern AI voice communicator. Rumor has it. Yeah, we're talking about that next. A revamped GPT with a new architecture, a large language model, empowered AI agents ecosystem. Yeah, we might see that too. And a multimodal tool for creatives. Ooh, I like these takes from Marias coming to us from our live stream. So yeah, please get your question, or if you want to get your hot takes in, let me know. And like Heidi is saying here from YouTube, definitely a packed Monday news cycle here for the AI space. All right, so that's actually probably not the biggest news of the day, y'all. Here is the biggest news of the day. So OpenAI is set to release new product updates today. All right, so this new announcement from OpenAI comes after weeks, probably at least 2 weeks of daily speculation about what OpenAI is going to be, OpenAI would be doing next. All right, so OpenAI did announce the spring event, is what they're calling it, or the spring updates on their website. And that event is happening today live at 10 a.m. Pacific, or if you're in Chicago time, noon. So that's about 2.5 hours right now from the time of this live recording. All right, so there's been a lot of rumors and speculation over the last couple of weeks about what this announcement actually is. But again, we have to look at the timing. All right. So timing number one would be the new report this morning from Bloomberg saying that saying that Apple is nearing a deal with OpenAI to integrate ChatGPT on its iPhone. So might we be hearing confirmation of that? I'm not sure. Again, we'll find out here in a couple of hours, but you have to look at the timing of that. And like we talked about, Apple's upcoming WWDC announcement in June. And also, that's not the only thing. Tomorrow is Google's big I/O developer conference as well. So, you kind of have all these back-to-back big tech talk and big announcements and, companies trying to upstage each other. But, it's the timing of this one is definitely interesting to look at. And, OpenAI just officially announced this just a couple of days ago, whereas, obviously Google has had the date set for their I/O conference for a couple of months. So interesting plans here and timing with OpenAI potentially looking to upstage anything that Google is going to be announcing tomorrow. So let's go over a little bit about what's going on with this OpenAI announcement happening here in a couple of hours. Well, first, we have to talk about what is kind of on the record and out in the public. So we had a tweet from Sam Altman, kind of addressing a lot of the different rumors. So, some of the biggest kind of reported rumors were that OpenAI was releasing a search engine to compete with both Google and Perplexity, right? And a lot of other, rumors swirling out there talking about, oh, OpenAI is going to be releasing GPT-5 or the next update to its model, right? So right now, GPT-4 is, about two years old, right? But still very capable. So they've been, updating GPT-4 kind of behind the scenes with GPT-4 Turbo and a couple of updates to GPT-4 Turbo. But right now, the GPT-4 model is a little, it's a little old. Not saying it's stale, because I still think it is by far the most capable model, and it's not even really close. So Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO, did go out and publicly address those rumors, saying in a tweet, he said, quote, "Not GPT-5, not a search engine." But then he said, I'll just read the whole tweet here. So he said, "Not GPT-5, not a search engine, but we've been hard at work on some new stuff we think people will love. Feels like magic to me." And then putting out the time of Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So a couple things to talk about here. Semantics of this text, right? So this doesn't mean that there's not going to be a new model. I actually believe that there definitely will be a new model released today, but it's not going to be GPT-5, at least not what they're going to be naming it. And also, Sam Altman has said that in the future they may not even stick to this same naming mechanism, I guess, right? So they've only technically done it since GPT-1 through 4.5. But we did see, right? Or sorry, GPT-4. But we've seen this iteration, right? So as an example, ChatGPT going from 3 to 3.5 to 4 might allude to today an announcement of 4.5, or maybe it's just new features and new capabilities and new updates to the GPT-4 model. We're not sure. So I definitely, obviously we're not going to disagree with OpenAI CEO. So yeah, I don't think that we're obviously going to see a GPT-5 model, but I do believe that we are going to see whether it is ultimately called GPT 4.5 or not. I do believe that we are going to see a pretty big update to the kind of most powerful model that we're going to be seeing. Couple reasons. One, if you go into your own ChatGPT account right now, you used to get a message when you would choose between GPT-4 or GPT 3.5. It used to say GPT-4 was the most capable model. Okay. So that used to be what it said when you selected GPT-4. Okay. It no longer says that. So now when you have the option for 3.5, it says great for everyday tasks. And for GPT-4, it says advanced model for complex tasks. So it no longer says our most advanced. Again, maybe we're reading between the lines here, but I do have to think that that means something. We've talked about, and if you read our newsletter, there's been these kind of new models that have been leaked, not really leaked, but they haven't really been publicly announced. They've just kind of shown up on the chat board arena for people to play with, essentially what was called GPT-2 chatbot, and two different variations of that same model, which have proved to be very powerful and were presumably much smaller in parameters and much more capable. Right. So you have to believe that something related with those models will be released today. Again, whether that's just a refresh GPT-4, GPT 4.5, or, there's been a kind of a rumor or naming kind of a new naming scheme kind of leaked out there for GPT-4 Auto, GPT-4 Lite. It could be GPT-4 Dynamic. So you've seen a lot of different kind of screenshots and rumors and people kind of looking at the back end of OpenAI and ChatGPT's code, suggesting different things. I do believe that the free version of ChatGPT 3.5 will be updated, whether or at least the announcement today, because this new model that we've seen, this GPT-2 chatbot and the two different variations of it, it looks like it is trained through November 2023. It is much smaller and much more powerful. So you have to think, okay, if OpenAI is making a move toward being more of a search engine type, uh, they would need a model that's a little more capable for their free, right? Because right now, over the last couple of months, whether people have seen this or not, OpenAI is positioning itself to be more of a search engine, right? So even though OpenAI CEO Sam Altman did say today's announcement is not about a search engine, that is definitely what OpenAI is making a play for, right? So a couple of things about that. Number one, you no longer have to have an account to use ChatGPT. So you can't save your chats, but you don't even need an account anymore. So that's new. Another new thing that we just saw this morning that, so two new things that I don't think anyone has reported on. Number one, if even without an account, you can use the new temporary chat feature. Whereas before, that was really just for ChatGPT Plus users. So now, even if you are using the free version, not logged on, you can use essentially ChatGPT as an answers engine. So more on that in a second. Another one is there is now an option to make all of your chats indexed or indexable. I don't even know if that's a word, but you have the option to allow all of your chats to be indexed. So, really not a good use case for that unless you're trying to do some marketing and advertising, right? So let's say you kind of build a chat that's, really good at doing a certain task, and you can essentially make that chat kind of crawlable or searchable by search engines. All right. So that's a brand new feature as well that I don't see anyone has reported on. So we've seen these kind of pieces fall into place over the last week or two that would suggest that there is something related to search. Obviously, Sam Altman specifically and explicitly said this is not a search engine. So I do believe, again, whether we see this today or in the coming months, that OpenAI will position itself a little more as an answers engine, like a Perplexity, right? They do have the domain that we've talked about. So the search.chatgpt.com. Another thing no one's reported on that we pointed out is now it adds a new redirect to that, which is /search. So we do know that there is something search related, whether that is technically a search engine or an answers engine, we're not sure. All right. So we could keep going on and talk about the speculation, but let's talk about some official reporting. So there was a new report this weekend from the information that could give us some hints on what today's announcement is actually going to be. And if you don't know the information, they're an investigative media company, primarily following the tech industry, and they have a pretty stellar record of success with a lot of their recent reports. But this new report from the information is saying that OpenAI is set to showcase new technology today that can communicate with people using sound and text, as well as recognize objects and images. Okay. So the upgraded AI developed by OpenAI, according to this report, aims to enhance logical reasoning capabilities beyond its current products. All right. So, and we've heard in this reporting so far that CEO Sam Altman's goal is to create a highly responsive AI similar to virtual assistants in the movie Her, with the intention of improving existing voice assistants like Apple's Siri. So a lot of this recent reporting from the information and others over the weekend is saying that we are going to see a more improved, essentially, version of Siri, which at least to me is ultimately an answers engine, right? So is it a search engine? Absolutely not. Is it an answers engine? Yes. Is it going to potentially change the way that we interact with devices, whether it's, our iPhones, right? So if this kind of new feature set is baked into whatever this alleged partnership is with Apple, that would obviously make sense, because if you've used Apple's Siri or Amazon's Alexa or any, kind of AI assistant, you'll notice that they're really, really bad. So essentially, to oversimplify things here, the reporting from the information is saying that today's announcement is largely based around a more conversational AI model that has some agent capabilities and can kind of perform tasks on your behalf, but is much better with just communicating, with talking to it, both in your voice and just with other multimodal inputs. So that is probably at least a strong indication of what we would likely be seeing here in a couple of hours from OpenAI. So yeah, that's a lot. We got to get to the rest of the news, right? But I'm curious here from our live stream audience. So Woozy saying, are we going to get the GPT-2 no dash today or something with Q star, right? Yeah, don't have enough time to get into the Q star reports, but yeah, I do think Woozy, presumably we will be getting a version or at least an announcement of this GPT-2. Again, no dash, so not talking about the GPT-2 model that OpenAI released in, I think that was 2017, but just kind of this new iteration, this new model that was kind of released quietly on the chatbot arena and is presumably much smaller. And again, that's another take for another day. But I think we are kind of leaning into a future where we're not talking about larger and larger models. We are talking about smaller models with fewer parameters, with higher quality data inputs, and just more agent-like capabilities. So yeah, I do think something with this kind of GPT-2 chatbot model that we saw kind of leaked out there on the chatbot arena, I think that will eventually at least replace the 3.5 model. I do assume that has to be on its way out here fairly shortly, and having some sort of increased kind of free version of ChatGPT, which presumably you would get a more capable paid model as well. So I do believe that there has to be some updates to both the free and the paid model, whether they're released today or at least announced today. I do believe that we are going to see that, and a new feature set or a new way to work with this model that is primarily more focused on voice or assistants or agents or something like that. All right, so we are also going to be doing a special podcast and live stream today after. Well, not going to do it, kind of traditional Facebook Live. I think we're going to do a LinkedIn audio event. So make sure to keep an eye out for that if you want to tune in. All right, let's get to the rest of the AI news, because I promise you it's not just OpenAI and Apple, although that's pretty big. But let's talk about this one. This one here, ElevenLabs has previewed a new text-to-music model called ElevenLabs Music. So ElevenLabs is set to launch a groundbreaking AI music generator with vocals showcasing impressive tracks that they released and teased on the Twitter platform about the upcoming model release. So the AI music by ElevenLabs has already garnered significant attention, with the first kind of Suno-esque track already surpassing 1 million listens. All right, so let's go ahead, and we're going to go ahead and share our screen here on the live show. So let's go ahead and listen into a short little sample here from the ElevenLabs kind of. So this is text to music. So what you are going to hear here in a second was, reportedly created with this new ElevenLabs music. So ElevenLabs, I think, is probably the leader in text to speech. So now they are coming out with this essentially text to music. So this is the only one that they've released or previewed so far. So let's go ahead. We're going to listen to maybe just 20 or 30 seconds of this new kind of song that they previewed, and it is titled "It Started to Sing," and the style is pop rock, country, top charts song. So presumably that is the text prompt that they use. Let's go ahead and take a quick listen.
We were having fun, programming young, dreaming that one day we'd make it work. Lines of code we'd write all night, hoping that one day we'd get it right.
All right, so Fairly impressive, right? Pretty impressive there. So if you follow the Everyday AI show, we talked about this a couple of times. So we had the co-founder actually of the leader in this space, Suno. So you have to believe, and you have to already see the writing on the wall here from ElevenLabs already quality wise competing with Suno in their new V3, as well as the newer kind of entry in this space, which is UDO. So now you already have two platforms out there that are available for everyone to use in Suno and Udio. So right now, this new feature, at least as of 30 minutes ago before I started the show, from ElevenLabs is not publicly available yet. So they are just kind of teasing. But you heard right there, the music samples shared by ElevenLabs exhibit some exceptional quality across various genres. So there you heard little remnants of jazz, pop, country, all generated from a single text prompts, and at least according to ElevenLabs, without any edits. So the tracks generated by ElevenLabs are notably longer than others. So that one was more than 3 minutes, with most exceeding 2 minutes and some even reaching close to 3 minutes, which is a significant improvement compared to other competitors like Udio. So, I mean, what did y'all think? Was that something you would start listening to? This is something I thought about a lot. Is the future of music going to be? Are you going to be listening to a mix of real artists and just AI generated, or might there be something in the future? Right, I could see something like this where a Spotify and Apple Music, maybe a title, just acquires one of these companies, and you will have kind of like there's I love Spotify, by the way, but Spotify has something called Discover Weekly and Release Radar, which are essentially I don't know if they're technically AI powered, but they essentially curate music just for you. Obviously that music is by real artists, but I would see a time here in the very near future when one of these big streaming platforms acquires one of these, at least three, and you have an option for an AI playlist that's all just based on your listening habits, right? So if you're skipping over certain songs, if you're liking certain songs, adding certain songs to playlists, I do see a time probably here in 2024, actually, with how fast this tech is developing, where you are going to have the capabilities just to create an entire AI playlist, right? Which is wild, but will probably be based off of your listening habits, or the ability to use a text prompt to create an entire playlist of songs, right? I know that sounds crazy, but look at how good the technology already is as of today. So there's already two platforms that you can publicly go use this. And if I'm being honest, it's some of the songs generated by AI are better than some of the some of the more smaller or independent artists, or even medium-sized artists. So it's obviously not, I don't think, at the quality of the best musicians and the best composers in the world, but it's not that far behind, right? If you wouldn't know any better, if you heard that, you could have thought, oh, that's a new Billboard hit from some new up and coming artist. You might not know, which is pretty crazy to me that we've gone over the course of probably about 6 months, where you can now generate, not only you can generate an entire song with a text prompt, but it's actually pretty good, right? It's actually pretty catchy. I was actually showing the Suno V3 technology off to my barber a couple of weeks ago, and just sitting there in the barber chair, just made a quick song, because he hadn't heard of it, and it's actually like really good. I go back and listen to it, every couple of days, because it's like a really good song. Yeah, like someone here saying video killed the radio star. Well, it didn't. Maybe streaming did. Yeah, it could be mixed. Yeah, I like that. It could be mixed, maybe with human artists and AI. Not sure. All I know is this new kind of tease from ElevenLabs, really, really good. All right. Our last piece of AI news that matters for the week of May 13th. Well, the ex Google CEO said that the future of AI search will have no links. Yeah, no links. All right. So, Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google from 2001 to 2011, believes that AI is actually underhyped and crucial for the future, stating that it enables reasoning, human interaction, research, and planning like never before. So the interview from Schmidt came from CNBC's show Squawk Box when they asked Schmidt about the future of search and AI. So Schmidt predicted a future where Google will provide answers directly through AI, bypassing the need for traditional web links, emphasizing the importance of organizing information over just getting a bunch of blue links that then you got to go dive into and see if you can get an answer or not. So Google's shift toward, and again, this isn't just the former CEO. Google has been experimenting with their search generative experience, which is more of an answers engine type, like Perplexity. And then, Bing from Microsoft has their deep search, which is fairly similar. But Google's shift toward showing answers without links is seen as a user friendly approach, leveraging AI to satisfy search queries effectively. And despite Schmidt's departure from Google, his insights hint at a potential direction for the company, focusing on AI driven information organization rather than the traditional web search. Google's current CEO has emphasized the coexistence of search and the web ecosystem, suggesting a balanced approach to information retrieval. But you do have to look at also the integration of AI assistants on mobile devices as well by companies like Google, and with Apple's kind of new now reported partnerships. It does signal a broader trend toward AI driven information retrieval and task performance. So, that is a wrap for AI news that matters. So let's go over it. Let's do a super high level recap on the news you need to pay attention to. So, our first piece was Apple is nearing a deal with OpenAI to integrate ChatGPT on its iPhone. So, that is literally fresh news just from a couple of hours ago. Speaking of a couple of hours ago, our second piece of news, Apple now in about 4 hours will be wait, let me get, yeah, did I get that right? Yes, 12 p.m. Yeah, earlier I said 2.5 hours. So it's about 4 hours right now from this live recording. Apple AI is set, Apple AI. Hey, did I hint at something there? OpenAI is set to release a new product update today at its spring event in about 4 hours. ElevenLabs has previewed a new text to music model called ElevenLabs Music. And the ex Google CEO has said the future of AI search will have no links. All right. So, and I did just talk about today, we are going to be having a special edition. So, if you're listening now on the podcast, there might already be the next episode out. So we're actually having 2 episodes of the podcast today, and we're going to be doing this on LinkedIn Live as well. So if you are not already following myself or the Everyday AI LinkedIn page, make sure you follow that now. We're going to be doing a live LinkedIn audio later today after the new OpenAI announcement because it is going to be pretty big. And then make sure to join us tomorrow when we talk our kind of hot take Tuesday for the week is going to be about OpenAI's announcement and what it means for the future of you and both the future of tech. All right, so that is it. If this was helpful, please let me know. What are your questions? I'll try to get through them today. So if you're listening here on LinkedIn, thanks as always. Make sure to tag a friend if it's helpful. Repost this. We spend hours putting these shows together. It takes you like 10 seconds to repost this to your network. We'd appreciate this. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, please leave us a rating. We'd appreciate that as well. So make sure to join us tomorrow and every day for more Everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.